This is Randall Root, and we are going to be taking a look at SQL Server Security in this video. Specifically, we're going to focus on logins, users, and permissions. Logins, users, and permissions are the fundamental tools that you work with for SQL Security. To start off with, I'll go ahead and open up SQL Server Management Studio. And let's say that I'm working on a project where I go through and make a brand new database. I'll call this database Security Demo. And now that that database is created, I should be able to expand it and see it. There it is. And of course, if I was going to make a database, I'd probably make some tables. I'll right-click and say Make New Table. And when the screen comes up, I'll call the first column ID. And the second column, name. I'll go ahead and hit the Save button and call it, I don't know, how about names? Not a great title for our name for the table, but it works. Next, if I were going to make an application that would tie into this new table, I would have to provide the application three things. I'd have to provide a login, a user account, and permissions to the table. The login is found under Security, and what it does is it provides access to the server as a whole. As you can see here, my SQL Server hosts many different databases. So to get onto the server, you provide a login. To get into the database, you provide a user account. Each database has a separate user account. So logins get you onto the server. User accounts get you into a particular database. And then once you're into the database, you need permissions on the object itself. So to start with, I would go through and create a login. The logins are Windows-based or SQL-based. We'll take a look at the differences between. But for right now, I'll just go ahead and make a login. Let's see. I guess I should see who currently I have. I currently have guest, system, info. I think what I'll do. Yep, it's a user account. Excuse me. Much better. I know I have an account called admin, so I'll make a login for admin. So it'll be my own machine. My own machine is RS laptop. And there's an admin account. If I don't know the name, of course I can do the search. And hit check names. Maybe it's a good thing I checked. There's laptop 2. There we go. Of course, you could have also hit the advanced button and find now to search for something. Once I've provided a login, that particular login, Windows login, can have access to the server. However, it can't access the database. To provide access to the database, I need to give it a user account. I'll choose login name, browse for it, and use my new login I made. So clicking that ellipse button allowed me to search. After that, you can give it any name you want. You can either put in the same name for the user account as login, or you can use a different name. Either way works. Typically, I go ahead and give it the same name as the login just to keep down confusion, but it doesn't really matter. Next, to provide permissions, I go to the property sheet of the table itself, go to Permissions, search for my entry. This provides me a list of users. And then identify what permissions I want. In this case, let's say I want to give a web application the ability to select the names in that table. I could give it select permissions. Or if I want to allow my Windows application or web application access to do a insert or update or delete, I could provide those as well. It's usually considered good form not to do inserts, updates, deletes, or even selects for that matter against the table. Instead, what you normally do is you make insert, update, and delete and select stored procedures. Providing permissions on a stored procedure. Let me create one real fast. Insert names. Oh, I guess I better give it some parameters. How about at name? Oh, I guess I better give it at ID also. Although often the ID column would be automated. But I didn't choose to do it in this case. And if I remember right, the column size was varchar 50. I'm pretty confident, so I'm not going to look it up in this demo. And of course, I would also put in a begin transaction statement, an end transaction statement, error handling, and the like. But for right now, I just want to do something quite simple. Once that was created, I would also create an insert, update, and delete stored procedures as well. And then under programmability, I'd find my stored procedures and provide permissions. The permission I need on a stored procedure is execute permissions. So I browse for the admin and provide execute. The way it works is that there's a chain of ownership permission setting that says if the owner of the stored procedure is the same owner of the table, then it assumes that providing execute permissions and doing the statements inside will allow me to go ahead and do the inserts, updates, deletes against the tables without even checking the underlying table. What this means is that by providing execute permissions on my stored procedure, I do not have to provide insert, update, or delete permissions on the actual table. It will be implied, which makes life a whole lot easier. In this video, we took a look at SQL Server Security and how to work with it as far as logins, users, and permissions. Again, these are the three main tools you use to work with SQL Server Security.